and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ebuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
The weekend was a successful one. There were rescues. About 100 students recalled the Niger school kidnap, St. Mary's Catholic School kidnap. About 100 of the 305 people were rescued yesterday. Before then, about 52 of them had reportedly escaped. The nitty-gritty, how this happened, what was given in exchange for these people, what collateral damage, and even what successes the security operatives who allegedly or supposedly rescued these victims made in terms of eliminating the people, these elements, these criminals, are yet to be made known to the public. While that was being celebrated in some quarters, let's not forget that about 125 of these people are still in captivity, or over 200 if I'm not mistaken. About 305 of them were taken, and or over 300 were taken. 52 escaped, 100 were rescued. We have, give or take, over 150 people still unaccounted for. Children whose only crime was to go to school to seek formal education in a place that is supposed to be a fortress of protection. But of course, it is Nigeria. While that was being celebrated up over there in Niger State, here in Anambra State, one of the things that we have come to record in recent times, very abnormal normalcy. When people get killed by these unknown gunmen now, we just say it happened. No one is really surprised again as to why this is happening, because this has come to almost live with us. First, it happened at Abatete a week or two ago, and yesterday was Northia. Some reports say 4 people were gunned down. The Anambra State Police Command hasn't made an official report on this, but the unconfirmed reports say about 4 people were gunned down, some were injured, others scampered for safety. This is the situation. As of now, we await further official reports, and of course, Benin Republic was in the news over the weekend. You know why? A coup attempt. While the persons who attempted this coup have been stopped, a lot of other things are about to be put on the table, especially since coups in this part of the world are spreading like wildfire. Also over the weekend, allegations emerged of some unlawful detentions, extrajudicial killings and torture in the anti-kidnapping unit of Imo State Police Command, popularly known as Tiger Base. All of these and many more we'd get to take a look at on today's edition of The Polity. Good morning to you and welcome. I am Chisom Chinedu. Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki is here as well. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Chisom Chinedu. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Ndi Anambra. Good morning, Ndi Onitsha. Good morning, Ndi Osmogu. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. It's another beautiful Monday morning, the 8th day in the month of December 2025. You know, the only December is actually getting intense, and then we must align. And we thank God Almighty for His mercy, for making everything possible for us to have a very fruitful and, pleasurable weekend. We had that, and we are thankful, and we're back here in the sanctuary to perfect the truth and do justice to some of the developing stories and developing issues we have in and around the country. You're welcome.
You're most definitely welcome. Let's take a look at what the front pages of the papers say. We're starting with the Nation newspaper. Banner headline here: Ribadu in talks with US team. On page 4, Tinubu picks ambassador nominee from the top of global universities. On pages 2 and 3, Nigeria sends fighter jets, ground forces as troops foil coup in Benin Republic. On page 6, Day of rescue. 100 Niger students out of hostage. 14 victims freed from Enugu forest. 7 taken out of Kaduna forest. Find these on page 31 of the Nation newspaper. Heading over to the Punch newspaper, where the banner headline is Security Crisis. Tinubu, Macron hold talks as U.S. fact finders arrive. On page 2, the writer here, U.S. delegation meets NSA, visits Benue. Nigeria, France eye security pact. Bandits release 100 Niger students. Defection rumors rise as Fubara faces mountain assembly fire. On page 8, coastal highway. Cross River residents get 1 billion naira compensation. On page 42. Boko Haram fight lasting longer than civil war is troubling. That's from Obasanjo on page 22. Anambra prison inmate wins international whistleblower award. On page 7. Pengasan Dangote rift widens over salary suspension. We are back to this on page 19. Abiodu Adeboye associates honor Adedoyin at 90th birthday Thanksgiving. On page 41. PDP crisis, Wike block plan state Congress's national convention. On page 42. Nigeria's World Bank debt to hit $9.65 billion. That's on page 31 of the Punch newspaper. And right over to the Vanguard, where the banner headline is Democracy Survives, How Benin Rep Coup Failed, or How Benin Republic Coup Failed. That's on page 5. That's from the federal government, by the way. It has riders. Benin Interior Foreign Ministers speak. A dozen soldiers arrested. Nigerian Air Force conducts multiple precision airstrikes and fleeing coup plotters. Quite an interesting thing. And look at what insecurity is doing to us. We're not, conducting these precision airstrikes at home. FG, ECOWAS, AU condemn attempted takeover. ECOWAS deploys troops to Benin Republic. All of these are on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. FG secures release of 100 school children abducted in Niger State on page 6. Serap to ENEC, explain missing 55.9 billion naira voted for 2023 poll materials. List smart card reader, ballot papers, others on page 9. Police storm kidnappers camp in Abuja, rescue 7 victims. Arrest suspected killers of retired judge in Delta. That's on page 6. PDP crisis, weakest camp moves to reorganize state chapters, conduct fresh congresses and convention. On page 8. LP reps to Tinubu APC. Prioritize welfare, security of people, not 2027 politics. Find this on page 8. Amid blackouts, NERC experts clash as discourse revenue rises to 1.7 trillion naira. Revenues rising, services shortening. Who is fooling who? The riders here, billing, collection efficiency on the rise. That's from NERC. Experts disagree, say customers are being cheated. On page 21. These are the stories you'd find on the front page of the Vanguard. Not forgetting that there is a sports story there. AFCON 2025. Super Eagles face chaotic build-up. And, okay, I'm going to go over to the next paper on our desk today. And now let's head over to the Guardian newspaper. The banner headline here is Relief in Cotonou as NAF joint force repel coup plotters in Benin Republic on page 6. Shipping lines decry $4.6 million stowaway repatriation yearly fine in Nigeria on page 7. Benue farmers lament decry crashing food prices on page 8. Concerns over fiscal governance as 2026 budget misses timeline on page 6. Install Prince Olojo Kosoko as Oloja of Lagos. Royal family appeals to Sanwo-Olu on page 5. PDP faction Mao's convention hosts meeting in Wike's residence on page 4. CAC to shut illegal POS operators. orders registration by January 1 on page 4. FG secures release of 100 abducted Niger school children on page 3. PEBEC exposes poorly performing MDAs due to service failures on page 3. Tele density hits 81% as Nigerians consume 1.23 million TB of data amid high cost on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Now you've got to pick up all of these papers to see what the inside is like, details of all of these stories. But of course, as always, we're going to pick out a few stories and make the talking points about them. So we're going to start from home. And obviously it's been our modus operandi to actually how is it said now, start from within, then we go outside. So we're starting from what happened in Northia yesterday, Tony. According to this report, I am going to take it straight from the Punch newspaper. It says that the Anambra State Police Command hasn't said anything, but what is known is that some gunmen, not identified by any means or anything, stormed a place called Afo Market Junction in Northia community, in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State yesterday. There was panic and chaos. The attackers reportedly opened fire on unsuspecting members of the community. Some victims were fatally injured while others fled to safety. There are reports that about 4 bodies were seen. Some reports say when the police comes to conduct a thorough, would I call it, assessment of what happened there, would definitely get an official report and clarity on the figures. But when things like this happen, Tony, when we assess the situation, we go straight to looking at the motive. So let me start with what you make of what happened in Northia yesterday and what you think could be the motive behind what happened.
From what we are told and from what we have been able to gather, we are looking at motive like issue of court clashes, random violence. It's not going to be anything headed from our attention. No way. You know, when you asked what could be the apparent motive for now, because from what eyewitnesses described, because they described the incident as commando-like chaos with no apparent motive. No apparent motive, possibly linked to court clashes, tensions, or random violence. No apparent motive for now. But it is very disturbing because if you look at immediate response, the Northia Progressive Union President General Chief Daniel Okoye, who condemned that very senseless act, but yet no official police statement. We just got to know that joint security teams have been mobilized and where residents have fled, no arrest reported as of this morning. No arrest so far. So my concern is, there was a time a similar incident happened in Ogidi, and we are told that what happened was a case where you had court clashes. Members of different fraternities were engaging in their own rituals, you know how they do their things. It was very clear, but the case of Northia is not apparently actually what one can say it is this or it is that. Remember what we knew before now. I remember around, I think there was a November 29 road crash where 6 people, including 4 women, and also they died when a speeding tipper collided with a 608 bus carrying about 32 mourners from a burial near Enugu Junction on the Oka Onitsha Expressway. In fact, that was the only incident that's mentioned North before what happened yesterday. So you ask what could be the motive, and I'm curious to wonder why police have not made any response. I'm just really concerned, because even if you are still investigating the matter, even if you are still trying to find out what could be the remote cause of the matter, at least statement like, we have acknowledged the incident that happened at Northia. We have mobilized our men. The situation is under control while investigation is ongoing. I think a statement like that would have
sufficed,
but making no statement at all also increases the suspicion. People are wondering what could be the case. If you look at it, it is very, very disturbing. We are unknown armed assailants. They stormed that very market, and it was in the evening, firing indiscriminately, and they killed several residents. In fact, we are just told that 4 persons have been confirmed dead, but there are multiple casualties reported. I have seen videos showing bodies in pools of blood. So it's very disturbing, especially the period we are in. The Ember period is quite appalling. I have said many times the need for us to tighten any security loophole for assailants wielding AK-47 to storm a village, firing indiscriminately. What that means that it can hit anybody. And with that, people were gunned down and they left that very place. We are not told they came to rob. We are not told that they kidnapped somebody or they attempted to kidnap somebody. We are not told that they were actually after someone or maybe a case of assassination. We are not told some of these incidents. We are told they came at that Afro market, they opened fire, shooting indiscriminately. And once they were done with the firing, they left that very scene in a commando style chaos. What would you call this? Are they acting Nollywood? Was that a Nollywood movie? I don't understand. Because you must trace some elements of crime for you to be able to see what that crime was all about. Was it a case of kidnapping, just like I said earlier on? No trace. Assassination? No trace. Were they targeting a particular set of people? No trace. Could it be a court-related clash? They know where their men are. They know, because if you talk about court-related clashes, they have targets. People they go after, coming at a market, opening fire. What would you call this? Or is it a case because there was a time similar incident happened somewhere around, was it Orumba or thereabouts? It was a case where some people were holding their meeting, but there are people that had thought that they had ulterior motive and they had wanted to disrupt the meeting and ensure that the meeting did not hold. They came and killed people while they were holding that meeting. Where the police told us that it was a case of, I think, Bonny State indigenes holding their meetings. So we knew what happened in that case. But what would you call what happened at Northia? Possibly that could be the reason police have not made any statement. But I'm saying that they should have made a statement. Even while investigation is on, people should know what is going on. So the appeal for calm by the community leaders, very well okay by me. The appeal for calm. But what could be the reason behind this?
Very important. It's very important to find this out because today is the 8th of December 2025, and the December period is usually a time that people from the southeast empty different cities of the world and come home. But unfortunately, in recent times, it's not been like that because the southeast has become a hotbed for insecurity. Anambra State, that used to be one of the safest states, I mean, there was the robbery era, then the Bakassi boys came in, and after all of the, would I call it, controversies that followed that particular period, Anambra State had some peace and quiet for some time. And then in the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's been madness. From the kidnappings to the ritual killings to all sorts of anomalies that unfortunately we have come to start counting as okay, it has happened again. We're not seeing them as normal. They're absolutely abnormal. But these days, we no longer scream and shout because it's not a case of it has happened again. And so I am wondering, Tony, what does this say in the broader sense about the security situation in the southeast, in Anambra State, precisely, especially given the period? We want people to come home. We want to see our relatives from different parts of the world. But when randomly people are shot at, what do you see about the security situation?
That's just the issue. Remember the last we are here, I said there should be security checkpoints mounted at every little distance. The idea is to checkmate the movement. If you cannot checkmate the movement of assailants, they would always have a field day. Their movement in and out. If these assailants had resistance, why making their move or why making entry in that very area, they would have been resisted. Possibly they would have had a shootout with the security operatives without even getting to that very town. Who knows what they were aiming. But I think we should do that. There's need for us to increase the presence of security operatives on our roads, especially. And I've said, let them mount checkpoints. They should mount checkpoints. And you remember, we have this connectivity of roads in Anambra State. And where some of these roads are tarred. So it is easy for one to make an incident here, and before you know it, he has taken exit through the other routes. So that is why we should tighten the security presence around different communities, different localities, and different places. So it's an eye-opener. We actually commending the security operatives for what they did after the incident where they shot at a convoy, and where we are told that they were able to go on with those people. I mean, they launched a manhunt and they were able to kill about how many of them, arresting one alive. So what happened in the case of Northia?
Give me a second, Tony. The statement from the police public relations officer of Anambra State Command just dropped.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read.
All right.
It says Anambra police action on the cult clash. So now we have a suspect, cultists, and motive, cult clash now. He said it was a cult clash that resulted in the fatal injury of 4 persons at Afo Northia Market. Fatal injury doesn't mean the people who we saw their bodies didn't die. Would get to find that out in due course. The Anambra State Police Command wishes to provide a comprehensive update on the cult-related attack that occurred on the evening of 7th December 2025 at Afo Northia Market along the Onitsha Oka Road, Onitsha Oka Old Road, please. It will be recalled that operatives of the command attached to the special anti-cult squad in Nuguku had 4 days earlier, acting on credible intelligence about a planned rival cult confrontation, arrested 2 dangerous suspects and recovered a firearm from them. The arrested suspects have been assisting the police with valuable information aimed at preventing further cult-related violence within Oka and its environs. Despite these proactive efforts by the command operatives, some members of the same gang on the evening of 7th of December 2025, operating in the black Hilux or black Lexus Jeep with registration number yet unknown, stormed Afo Northia Market and opened fire indiscriminately. The violent attack resulted in the fatal injury of 4 persons, after which the assailants fled the scene. Although the hoodlums escaped before police arrival, preliminary information obtained at the scene has provided useful leads, and the command is already acting on them to ensure the perpetrators are tracked down and arrested. The Anambra State Police Command remains resolute in its determination to rid the state of cultism, violent crimes, and all forms of criminality. Further developments will be communicated as investigations progress. And this is signed by SP Ikenga Tochukwu. He's the spokesperson of the Anambra State Police Command. Now that we have a suspect, or rather we have a bracket for what this is, a cult-related clash. Now we have to deal with the issue of cultism. And again, I ask, are we asking people to come home where these cult boys go about terrorizing people? This is a cult clash, but we know how they operate. In societies where these boys exist, they behave like, I don't know, especially, Tony, with the use of drugs. You can't take cultism away from drug abuse. Like, the two of them are like conjoined twins. And so these are 2 issues I'd like you to look into. How do we rid our society of cultism and drug abuse?
I think if you look at it, cultism is a secret society. They operate in secret.
A secret criminal society.
That's what it is. They operate in secret. And it requires intelligence and technology to deal with them decisively. It's not something we make statements on papers, on maybe television. Possibly we must devise mechanism. Let's quickly let you know that this cultism of a thing is having its toll in our own dear state, even before what happened yesterday. Remember the one that happened at Exit Village, Ogidi, in Idemili? That was around 11 September. Late hours during a burial where gunmen these cultists stormed the burial ceremony, opened fire, and 4 people were killed. 15 persons were injured. That was on 11th September 2025. Okay, let's take you back to what happened around 19th of June 2025 around Oko town. Oko is in Orumba North local government area, around Totu Junction and Tipa Junction near the Federal Polytechnic Oko. The same cultists, they opened fire, they killed 2 persons and abducted 2 other persons with several wounded. This happened around June. You can understand from June, all you have is July, then you move to September. After September, you have October, November, then you move to December. So if you go down to memory lane, I don't want to talk about the one that happened sometime in 2023 in Obosi, because we all saw how it happened.
Obosi was mad at a point.
That was it.
2023 was crazy.
Because it was a case where gunfire was exchanged between the vigilante patrol and suspected cultists. And we saw how it ended. People that were killed.
You know, Tony, give me a second. At the point in Obosi, almost every week, especially from that Afadike to Akora, or even from Afadike mostly to Akora, is always blocked almost on a weekly basis.
Just that. And we have anti-court units of the police, and we have them stationed in Obosi. We also have them stationed in Enugu. Remember, sometime in 2024, there were multiple communities affected. In fact, sometime around October 2024, somewhere around the Nibo and Nodopono communities, where the same cultists, they opened fire again. At least 13 persons were killed in such a clash. So you can go on and on. We cannot continue with these incidents. They are dense. We know very well that mostly they have a covert motive in a way to go after some rival courts. They end up hitting unsuspecting members of the public.
Now let's go down to some of the issues here. The existence of cultism in the first place, especially in rural communities. Well, while Northia may not be very rural, there are sparks of development. But usually villages are the places where there is peace. And somehow the devil found its way to our homesteads. And so our villages, instead of being the place where, when the city becomes too hot, you go home, they have become hiding places for terrorists, the ones who stay in the bushes and call themselves all sorts of things, unknown gunmen and all of that. And then cultists as well. And I'm asking, what is giving rise to this rise in cultism, or this, I don't know, young boys, instead of getting busy, instead of going to the farms and using the energy for something, are busy, taking drugs, parading themselves as strong men. What is feeding this decadence, Tony?
I think it's a mix of social, economic, psychological, and cultural factors. It is rarely caused by a single reason, honestly speaking. Several interrelated issues push you towards cult groups. Apart from that, because in the universities, I know that the major reason why they join cultism is a case of peer pressure and social acceptance. That is the major reason why somebody sent to university end up becoming a cultist. The peer pressure and social acceptance, because they believe that once you're a cultist, you're a big boy, you have upper hand, you can do and undo, you have people protecting you, you have people surrounding you, you have they belong to this group to gain recognition among their peers. By me, if you have a girlfriend and immediately possibly you are in a squabble with another boy over issue of girlfriend, and once it is being whispered, he's a cultist. So that fear. So they try to show power, command fear, and that kind of forceful respect, which can appeal to insecure or marginalized youth. If someone who is vulnerable and it's like join cultism. If you join cultism, you've got the power, you've got the respect, you have got the things like just peer pressure.
So what happened to our value system again?
That is weak family structure. Weak family structure. Because broken homes, neglect, lack of parental guidance. These are things that we have seen and we have on records push youths to this kind of and drugs. You cannot in any way extricate the influence and the role of drugs. Most of them, they are drug abusers. They take drugs, and most times it happens in a way that is very, very quite disturbing. You look at universities and polytechnics; they are historically hotbeds of court recruitment. But despite that, we have those who are not in university who are also members of courts, and it could be as a result of economic, hardship, unemployment, and then they believe that they can offer quick access to money, and sometimes they also go on to rob. They get into armed robbery. So why they are doing this? They are also doing this. Most of these gangs, armed robbery gangs, they are cultists. So that's how it started. So I think that's just, you asked the question, why are they into the youths? And I've given you answers to that, but we are going to talk about.
Do you think that something about the way the country is affecting or bringing about this? I mean, looking at the fact that a lot of young people have no jobs, they have little or no support to actually be self-employed and all of that. Do you think possibly it is leading to this uprising in cultism, especially where places like Northia have been a hotbed? About 2 years ago, I'm also learning that something similar happened in Northia. Is this a time we start to engage with people of Northia? What is happening at home?
It's not about engaging. It's just like every other community in Anambra State, because this incident just came out. What happened in Northia could be going on in many communities, not just in Anambra State, in other parts of the southeast. So why we are talking about Northia is because there was an incident. So you find out that it is something we must deal with decisively. And remember, this revenge and retaliation culture among different rival courts is also a disturbing ingredient. Their clutches are retaliatory. Possibly one member could be touched, and before you know it, the other members, they have regrouped to attack the other rival court. So it's a culture of eye for eye. And the cycle keeps on. It's a cycle of violence. The most important thing I have said many times here is the fact that we must catch them young, because we have the generation coming up. What are we telling the generation coming up about cultism? What are we telling them? What's the message? What kind of family structure are they coming out from?
How much are we going about the sensitization? Are the bodies responsible for sensitizing the people, doing something about it? What is happening within our educational structures? Are things like this, conversations like this, had with the young people from the start? Because when we talk about cultism, it looks like it is something that waits until someone is in the tertiary institution age to happen. You go to secondary schools and we see children as early as 12, as young as 12, being involved in cultism.
And not just that, even businessmen and women.
Tell me about it.
Businessmen and women, people who have graduated from universities, people who are artisans, many people, they join this thing for one reason or the other. For some join either to have quick access to money, some join for protection, some join to gain social,
respect, notoriety,
acceptance, respect. There are many reasons. But one thing I must let you know is this: to deal with them is very easy because they have a network. Most times there are some security tips you don't disclose on air, but the most important thing is that we must look at ways, apart from because you have kinetic and non-kinetic approach. So the kinetic approach, we have said many times, it must be data-driven, led enforcement.
Okay.
Strengthening security and law enforcement is the key, and at the same time, strict prosecution. I don't know if there's any, because definitely if they are seeing what is going on, seeing that the state has declared emergency on court-related activities, heavy crackdown, before you know it, many of them will leave the state and look for where to show themselves. And there will be community mobilization. Community themselves must mobilize against cultism within their own space.
Okay.
They must mobilize. And there will be, de-radicalization for those who are totally damaged, those who are totally, radicalized. So we must show some level of seriousness because it's a monster. We've just read out these incidents from time to time. It keeps coming from, you don't know where it's going to come. You don't know where next it's going to come. But the most important thing, we must identify, because definitely we must sit down and identify why. I've said why people do what they do, why they join this. But how do we put a stop using a non-kinetic approach and also using kinetic approach? It must be something we must take serious. There must be intelligence-led policing. It's a gang. It's a kind of network.
So right before we go on a commercial break, Tony, something else happened yesterday in Lilu, precisely. SP Tochukwu Ikenga already put out a statement this morning confirming that attack in a church where the clergyman was killed and some properties on the church premises were burned. And I ask again, the Lilu area, we got reports that it's been totally de-radicalized. We had reports of people going back to that area, Ihiala, Osumohu, Lilu, and all of that. What exactly happened yesterday? Who are these unknown gunmen? Are they testing the waters? Are they trying to see if they can come back? What exactly is going on?
We saw what happened again in Lilu, where under silence, gunmen, they attacked St. Andrew's Anglican Church in Isokwe, Lilu. Isokwe is one of the villages in Lilu. This happened so early during the service. We are told that 2 persons were actually killed, and one of the persons killed was the wife of the cleric, and several worshippers were injured.
Okay, the wife of the cleric.
And that's the report we've got. Wife of the cleric was one of those killed, because 2 persons were killed and several others were actually injured. Some vehicles and part of the church building and nearby properties were also set ablaze. I don't know, the issue of setting ablaze some part of one would say it is a replica of what we used to know before now. So just as we're actually talking about the police response, the Anambra police, they just condemned the attack, but then we are told that a joint security team has been dispatched.
The fact that we had arrests made in that area and the camps demolished, still we should have had concentrated security personnel presence in that area. One would have thought that to be proactive, volatile areas would have still concentrated police attention, especially since these people would probably just be hiding away somewhere. How many arrests were made when this happened, by the way? It means these elements are still somewhere lurking around.
If you ask how many arrests were made, I am not aware of any, because by the time the police could arrive, the incident had happened.
I am talking about the fact that all those camps in the bushes in that area, we were told they were brought down, and that was possibly one of the reasons why the people of Osumu, Ihiala, said, fine, we can go home. Remember when they did their church something? Even KC, the artist, went home. He's from Ihiala, saying this place is now safe. And now I asked the question, when this place was adjudged safe, the people making it unsafe, what became of them? Because it's very crucial in this context. If they were not properly taken care of, by properly taken care of, I mean elimination, they will be lurking somewhere waiting to strike the moment they get a chance to.
Lilu is more like a neighboring town to my hometown. Osumo shares a boundary with Lilu. Very well. It's a neighboring town, and just as we have other neighbors like Iseke, Mbose, Obolisiuzo, and even Azia, as we have these, towns, it just, there's, I think it's also part of Ebonesie. But just like you asked, we've been told that their camps have been dismantled. Their camps have been dismantled, and a lot. You are asking, it's not just about dismantling the camps. You must have presence there. Once security work is a continuous work. It's not just work and stop.
Go.
No, it's not just to work and stop. Once you think you have cleared their camps and then you've done this, then you close shop, you go back. No, you must establish presence around that area, because if you look at what happened, it's a typical style of unknown gunmen activity. Is a typical style. They stormed the church, St. Andrew Anglican Church, Isiopoli. What did they do? They killed 2 persons. One of the persons killed, just like I told you earlier on, is the
clergy's wife.
The clergy's wife. And they burned down the house of the clergy. They razed it down. They burned down some part of the building, of the church building. So it is a typical style of the known unknown government we actually knew before now. But the question is, I know many towns have mobilized against these people. I don't know about Ledu. Osumohu as a town has mobilized. Iseke as a town has mobilized. Mbos as a town has mobilized. We've seen community people taking ownership of their plagues. I don't know about Ledu. I don't know if they have done what others have done by taking ownership, by ensuring that every bush is cleared. Every bush is cleared. Every place is actually leveled. Where community will form their own vigilante, because if you wait for police to do some of these things for you, they will not do it.
Absolutely.
So
I understand your call for the people to get involved in their own security. But the sole responsibility is still on the government.
Definitely.
To protect the
It
people.
is the duty of the government to protect lives and property. And we're seeing some weaknesses, especially either statutory structure or their modus operandi. You have Aguna, you have Operation Dogache, and we know that's more compared to the local governments we have.
And sometimes when they act, you start to wonder, how were these people trained? Who trained them?
That is it. It's a case whereby I have made this call. If we have state police, local government police, and possibly community police, they will be there. Community take charge of security. Security is a local business. Policing is local anywhere you go. It's not a situation whereby somebody will be from Orcas pretending you come and go. The moment you left, who stays? So there must be presence, and that is why it is a kind of cliche in security industry that it is local.
All right.
What makes it local? And the community will have to also be involved.
All right.
But we must do, quite a lot of things, because we're having another incident at Tiger Base. I don't know, you mentioned it before, but
yes, we'll definitely get down to the Tiger Base incident, and of course, we take a break now, attend to some commercials. The conversation is definitely going to continue in just a few minutes. Keep it locked to still the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Uwe izughị oke o, mana dịka nwa afọ Naija nwoke maọbụ nwaanyị ebe ugbu a, ị kwesịrị ime onye na-akpọ gị n'ekwentị. Ohere na-abịa sọ naanị otu ugboro, mana nke bụ ezigbo ajụjụ dị na ya bụ, ị ga-adịkwa na njikere? Ekwekwala ka ohere ọzọ ganarị. Lee anya, otu kọọlụ ziri ezi nwere ike ịgbanwe ndụ gị. Tinye Truecaller app n'ekwentị gị tata, mara onye na-akpọ gị, hụ na ịtụfughị ohere ịnweta otu kọọlụ ahụ nwere ike ịgbanwe ihe niile. Truecaller, za ezigbo oku.
When the city sleeps, the river remembers. When the drums call, Onitsha awakens. This December, the call grows louder as Udala Radio joins forces with the Golibe Festival 2025. From December 26th to New Year's Day, the heartbeat of the East comes alive. Music, laughter, art, culture, and the unstoppable joy of homecoming. This year promises more energy, more color, more connection. A festival for every proud son and daughter of Igbo land. Stay tuned to Udala Radio, your front row seat to the celebration that never fades. Golibe Festival 2025. Exclusive media support by Udala Radio. It's not just a festival, it's who we are.
Your investment is just one drop. On its own, it can only do so much. Now, imagine a million more drops. This is the power of First Asset Money Market Fund and First Asset Dollar Fund. They pool your money with others to create a powerful flow, giving you access to great earning opportunities. Call 0201-889-4444 now to start with 5,000 Naira, $100 or more. Let us build wealth together. The First Asset Money Market Fund and First Asset Dollar Fund are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission Nigeria. Please read the prospectus and where in doubt, consult your investment advisor, stockbroker, fund or portfolio manager, accountant, banker, solicitor, or any other professional advisor for guidance before subscribing.
Merry Christmas from all of us.
Udala Radio
104.7.
Now hear the Christmas Day sweet past. Let's go. Bells they ring for the street tonight. Children they dance under Christmas light. Mama they cook jollof, aroma they rise. Yeah. For they smile, joyfully miles. No they for body love they warm. Afro be breathing, happiness don't come. Oh, from Onitsha city to every home. Now celebrate shine, food is on. It's a Udala Christmas. Oh, everybody gather make we jollof. It's a Udala Christmas. Oh, turn up the music, make it go. Udala Christmas day sweet for Udala Radio. Udala, your number one vibes everywhere you go. Light up the tree, let it shine. Let it shine. Love for the season, make we share, make we bind. From morning to night, Udala hold you tight. Now Christmas magic, pure delight. Udala, Udala, Christmas day sweet, oh Udala, Udala, feel the beat, oh. From all of us at Udala Radio. Merry Christmas.
Kara Ekeresimesi a wetala anyị aṅụle na obi ụtọ. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Right before we went on that break, Tony, you were rounding off on the incident at Lilu, and of course, reminding us of what happened over the weekend when calls were made for investigations to be carried out concerning the activities of the officers at the anti-kidnapping unit of Imo State Police Command, popularly known as Tiger Base Unit. Some persons have called it the SAS of the present-day police division. Some say what happens there is extrajudicial killings, torture, unlawful detentions. Let's not also forget that this has been an accusation that has spread across different police divisions in the country. Tony, what do you make of this?
Just as we are trying to round off issues of security breaches in Anambra State, I'm also to admit that some of these issues that are isolated case, it would not in any way deter the Christmas festivity that is around the corner. Just isolated case. Some people, for one reason or the other, wants to instill fear on the Anambra, but we know definitely that the state over the time has experienced relative peace, and that we must ensure that it's sustained. Now that's why we are calling on the security agencies to ensure that their presence is felt at every nook and cranny of the state. Even when we know we have relative peace, but these isolated incidents should not be allowed to scare people away. Now, let's go straight to what happened in Imo State. It's a very unfortunate development, and I've got so many questions to ask because the key incident has to do with the death of Levi Okpara. That's the major issue there on December 5th. The story of Levi Okpara, a 46-year-old businessman and father of 5 from Emekuku in Owerri North local government area, was actually the sad incident, the death of this man was actually broke on that very day, December 5th. And then you asked incident leading to his death. We are told that Obara was arrested on October 15th, 2023. That's about above 2 years, more than 2 years, over a domestic dispute involving his wife, who allegedly accused him of assault. The wife accused him of assault. Police arrested him, detained him at the Tiger Base. And the Tiger Base is known to be where kidnappers and then highway robbers, hardened criminals, that's where they are being detained. But this man who had a domestic dispute involving his wife for allegedly being accused of assault was detained that very place. He was not formally charged. He was not formally charged over this period. You can imagine having someone being detained for over 2 years without a formal charge. Just like I said, that Tiger Base, it was really, or is still, a facility for high-risk suspects. For over 2 years, this man was there. And his family claimed they paid multiple bribes, up to 10 million in total for his release. But on November 30, 2025, some officers informed them that Levi Opara had died suddenly from an undisclosed illness. The reaction started on December 5th, but he died on November 30, according to the officers. So they were completing reports. In fact, one officer allegedly told the family that Opara collapsed during interrogation. But autopsy demands revealed stab wounds and signs of severe torture. And his body was reportedly sneaked into a mortuary without family notification. So for the family, there was a sign or a sinister motive to cover up a lot of things. Now, many people are asking questions. Even before the case of Levi Opara, there was another case of Jeffet Njoko, who was tortured to death sometime around May 2025, a market security official. There was also in 2023 the case of Izuchukwu Madeke, where it was a case of enforced disappearance over a business dispute. These cases are piling up. I'm surprised, or I'm not surprised rather, why some civil society organizations, many of them have written petitions to the Inspector of Police that the Tiger Base be dismantled. According to them, in fact, the Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, RULAC, they have accused the unit of operating a state-sanctioned torture chamber. But we are simply denying all of this. The police public relations officer, DSP Henry Okoye, made a statement sometime around December 3rd, where he refuted all claims as false, unfounded, and a smear campaign by criminal elements disrupting the successes recorded by the police command.
I want to ask a few questions, Tony. The first spokesperson, did he address the case of Levi? And this issue of a person being arrested and kept in custody without being charged, it didn't start with Levi's case. It is one of the madnesses that have become normal in the policing system of Nigeria. One time there was allegations of the same thing happening somewhere in Oka. There was also allegations of there being a camp somewhere in GRA here. There have been allegations, and I ask again, who is investigating? What proof is out there that we have investigated? This is a digital age. What stops the police from being playing with the findings of their investigation in terms of going through what is happening, or even the facility of Tiger Base? Again, I have another question. The people who were in charge of SARS, what happened to them? Were they taken out of the police force, or were they just renamed and their atrocities baptized and continued in the same system?
I think if you look at, just like you pointed out, it's just the belief of many Nigerians and those who are familiar with incidents that have been happening in that very area, very locality. In fact, they have termed that very place as a seat of torture extortion, and illegal arrest. That if you have a common dispute with a business partner, any form of civil dispute, you will be threatened with tiger-based detention, and sometimes with a bail demand up to 1 million or 10 million, as the case may be. Because we have seen viral videos and eyewitness accounts where they describe beatings, electrocution, kill and bury tactics. In fact, there's one officer they call kill and bury. His name is there. He's known as kill and bury. There was this December 4th eyewitness account on X where there was this claim that officers stopped a bus in Owerri, robbed passengers, and threw a woman out of a moving vehicle. So there has been this allegation of organ harvesting where decomposed, mutilated corpses found in rigs on Ngopala Hotel. Remember that mortuary? I saw the video where the state police representatives and then the commissioner for health Imo State, they made a visit, but Imo State government sealed that very hotel and mortuary on December 7th. But they were linked to somehow the Tiger base with suspicion of trafficking organs from victims. So the most important thing, the man in the storm of all these things, because there are some people who believe that a civil defense officer's video, the one that went viral on December 5th, where a particular aide, I won't call his name, a particular aide to Governor Hope Uzodinma and a particular inspector known as Kill and Bury, they were accused of orchestrating violence to suppress dissent, including pump-linked arrest. But in all of this, let's talk about this case of Livia Para. A man having issue with a wife for just no reason. Possibly petition was written or the wife called the police, and the man got detained at Tiger Base for over 2 years without formal charges. Which law makes such pronouncement that somebody could be detained for over 2 years without a formal charge, and suddenly the man died in that detention? And we say all is well? All is not well. If the security authorities, both at force headquarters, because if police is a complicit or is being accused of something, it cannot investigate itself. It cannot. Then the need for private or independent investigative panel becomes necessary. How can police investigate itself when it's being accused? And the family claim that have paid up to 10 million for the release of this Livia Para. But I would also want the family to show evidence, because if you make any claim anybody makes now, you must support it with evidence. That's the most important thing, because the whole thing is in the court of public opinion. And the atrocities many people have been complaining being committed at that Tiger Base must be investigated. And in fact, if you go to our Administration of Criminal Justice Act, it empowers magistrates, judges to make a routine visit to some of these detention facilities and see things themselves. Where the chief judge is also mandated to look at some of these cases. If they don't have a formal charge, you release them unconditionally. Are these things being obeyed? Are these things being followed? Don't we have law? How do we treat human beings as if they did not exist? With content? Anybody who, from the look of things, anybody who has any issues, you'll be tagged IPOB and you'll be dealt as a terrorist. Because since IPOB is a proscribed organization, there are sometimes you have issue with anybody, you will be tagged, you're an IPOB member before you know it. See, my own is let there be independent investigation. Let there be independent investigation. We are talking about Livia Para. What about Jeffat and other persons that have been linked to one thing or the other? But it's one thing for police to refute whatever claims people are making, saying that they have made successes. Of course, they have done a good job in trying to bring security in Imo State. But the jobs, I must say, is far more beyond what we are saying. The point remains that we know how unruly that place used to be, but you would also say police and the security forces in Imo State have been able to do one or two things to bring normal to that. The other day I told you I went to Imo State and I saw orderliness, but there is a rule of engagement. You don't go overboard. We hear these allegations of civil disputes, a man having issues with a wife, and before you know it, these are civil police. Assault is a criminal. Is a criminal matter because it has to do with force against somebody. But apart from the criminal angle to that, there are other civil aspects of it. Having dispute in business, somebody entered into business with somebody, or debt recovery. This is as purely civil. They don't have any police business, but they get themselves involved in debt recovery. So there should be independent investigative panel as far as this is concerned. It's not about this the police PRO in Imo State, Henry Okoye, making a rebuttal. It's not all about that. The family is crying for justice. Livia Barra, how can somebody be in detention, not in prison? You cannot detain beyond 48 hours. You cannot, without charging the person. What happened? We cannot allow lawlessness to take control of our spaces. Because for me, if truly the man was detained as we are told for such a period of time, it's act of lawlessness on the part of police. Pure lawlessness. And no serious government will condone that. No serious government.
Speaking about what serious governments will condone and what they will not, we're going to quickly look at the broader security issues in the country and then move on to quickly touch on what happened in Benin Republic over the weekend. So, Tony, we've been told that over 100 students of the 300 plus taken away from a school in Niger State were rescued yesterday. I've been asking questions about the ones left behind. How were 100 taken? What was given in exchange? No collateral damage, no update on procedure. I do understand that some security methodologies are not to be put out in the public. But why are we playing this way? Looks like we are simply negotiating with these people, Tony.
That is what it is. For the release of the abducted girls, we're not told that some of these abductors were arrested, that they were rounded up, or this was got from them, but all of a sudden they were released. And even before then, the National Security Advisor appealed to Nigerians that these people will be released. So it means that somebody's negotiating. And we've said many times that we must have a national policy, a national legislation on this issue. Because if you are negotiating to round up these people, it's a different ball game. But if you're negotiating to just ensure that these people are free, because one would tell you, if your loved one is among those who were abducted, will you be saying this? That people who were abducted, they are human beings and they want freedom. And anything that could be done to ensure their freedom could be what the state is doing. But
what they seem to forget is that for every time that we negotiate, we support the next raid.
We support the next set of victims. Not just raid, the next set of victims, because whatever money you're going to give them, they're going to use it to expand their scope, acquire more weapons, feed very well. And for them, it's a lucrative business. You think they will stop at the ones you are. See, you must find a way to stop something permanently. This approach is taking us nowhere. It is even causing more harm. And government hasn't come out to say that they parted with this or that. The only thing they told us that these girls that have been released. How were they released is the question. What transpired? Who made the contact? Who was contacted?
Who was a negotiator?
The money given to them from where? If actually money was given to them. And I've said it many times, we must have a legislation. If you have a policy, a simple policy, you can't challenge, you can't go to court to actually talk about punishment against somebody who goes against a policy. Because once it's a legislation, penalties will be spelled out. Those who were involved could as well be arrested. See, the point remains that I have said it many times, we have not shown seriousness. Mr. President, yes, he met President Macron, and we are told there are talks on how to end insecurity in Nigeria. But are we making any statement about ending insecurity in Nigeria on our own? The answer is definitely no. Because I've not seen strong statements we have made so far, apart from measures Mr. President has taken to ensure that these things are dealt with. But these measures, are they far-reaching? How effective Have we seen, because over the time these measures were made, have we seen any sign? So that is just that. And then you ask us, we must ask ourselves this question. The First Minister has said no negotiation, no this, no that. He made those statements at the Senate. We clap for him and he received applause. What is going on? Would we be on the same page with the National Security Advisor? Because National Security Advisor has an office, you also have an office. And your office, both of you report to Mr. President. Is National Security Advisor, if he's into negotiation and you are not into negotiation, that is a conflict of interest. So we must have a concerted interest on how we approach this issue. So it is important. We must call a spade, and then end this nonsense, end this madness. We've been encouraging these people through negotiation, through different policies of repentance, de-radicalization, and all manner of things we've said. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Speaking about enough being enough, is it really enough? The Vanguard says that democracy has again survived in Benin Republic after a failed coup. And of course, over the weekend, a group of soldiers, about 12 of them from reports, took to Benin Republic's state broadcast medium to make an announcent that the military, what they called, I'm trying to find the exact name they called the group now, not exactly the Beninese military, but this group said they have taken over government and President Talon would no longer be in charge. And of course, all of these things have been spreading in different parts of Africa. All right. And as much as what happened in Benin Republic over the weekend was foiled, I'm curious to find out, Tony, if democracy is surviving, the things that democracy was supposed to give, has democracy been giving it? Because I'd like to believe that if democracy has been giving what it was built to give, there would be no room for a coup. There would be no one thinking of a coup. Let's look at Benin Republic, where any opposition is stifled. Opponents of Talon are arrested, banned from contesting elections. He's been in power since 2016. In Africa, we've had leaders in power for over 40 years. And you call that a democracy, really? So, when democracy survives in Africa, I am tempted to ask, are we even practicing democracy or a kind of authoritarianism or military government without uniform?
You raised important issues, there's no doubt, because you are concerned about what usually triggered this queue, not the queue itself.
Exactly.
Because we must look at factors that precipitate issues as against,
and then an action. A reaction. Coup is a reaction to something. And we're not going to sit down here and pretend like the actions of these so-called democratic governments have not been demanding for what they get.
I think it's very disappointing, especially when it comes to democracy. The type of democracy we have in Africa, I don't know, it's not actually working very well. And that's why you have unrest, you have poverty, you have unemployment, you have infrastructural decadence, infrastructural deficits, you have all these things. Because that's not a kind of democracy of no accountability. Nobody accounts for anything. Once you are there, it's a privilege for you and your family, and for you and your friends, and for you and your Orapa people. That's the kind of democracy. The democracy over there is a democracy of accountability. If at any point you fail to be accountable, the public voices will rise and you resign. How many African leaders have you heard resigned on their own as against or as a result of not being properly accountable to policies? We saw a prime minister in UK during the COVID. He did not maintain COVID rules. As a result of that, the opera came against him, and it's one of the factors that led to his resignation for not upholding rules coming from the government. We've seen situations where funds, if you cannot account for funds, and there is periodic audit, it is a pure service. Democracy out there in the Western country is a pure service. If you're not interested in serving, you have no business. But democracy here in the Africa, especially the sub-Saharan Africa, is a democracy of privilege. once you are there, you are made forever. You can do whatever you want to do with public funds. Go away with, nothing happens. And you would also want to perpetuate yourself in power. If not for some concerted Nigerians, what is happening in some of these countries where a president can contest for many terms. We look at what happened in Ivory Coast. Chetima left for the inauguration of Ouattara for his 4th term. That's the kind of thing here. You're going to talk about that of the president of Cameroon. How many times has he completed? And it has always been the case where they impoverish the people. And most times they have this intimacy with a particular Western country that deceive them against the people. Sometimes it could be France, who mostly because they colonize some of these Francophone countries. And before you know it, they're interested in the raw materials. They will supply you weapons, and then for you to continue to impoverish their people without any development. And in their own climb, there is pure accountability. Macron cannot spend public funds the way he wants. He must subject it to both public scrutiny and at the same time parliamentary and governmental scrutiny. He does what he's asked to do, not what he wishes to do. So that's the kind of democracy they have there. But the same France will be, from that angle, fueling in any form of unrest in any African country. And when we move on too much from the look of things. You think they care for you, they are interested in your raw material, some of the things they produce, the evaluations they have over there. If it has to do with, there are so many things they can do with cocoa, there are so many things they can do with timber, there are so many things, and they are in support of some of these unrest. They don't want Africa to develop, and Africa do not understand that. But that's by the way. If you look at Benin Republic, because you asked a question on Benin Republic, it is something that one would ask. Not just Benin Republic, because Nigeria sent a fighter, and many Nigerians have been commenting, why would the government send 2 fighter jets to ensure that the government of Benin Republic take over the TV station that these mutineers had taken control over to help them to sustain the ground forces that have come against them. But we also knew very well that there was a contingent of joint troops sent by ECOWAS. Those from different ECOWAS countries, we saw them. But Nigeria, people are saying you cannot even send fighter jets against insurgents. These people that have been kidnapping people, but they are sending fighter jets to rescue or to support the ground troops in Benin Republic for them to have control of their TV stations. Those mutineers have taken charge of that TV stations to announce the coup, but we are told it was fraud. But the thing is, it's not about charity begins at home, and I agree, because there are things you go out to do, but you cannot do it within. It tells a lot. How many of us still remember that we have fighter jets? I think we procured Tokono jets. We procure this, we procure some of these armaments. How do we often use these armaments against these insurgents, these insurgents? So the issue is what we do at home. It matters most. For anybody listening, for anybody, for an average in Nigeria, his concern is about his safety at home. Now, we know Benin Republic is a small country, a very small country. Very, very small. You can't compare with share border with them, fine and good. But the stability of Nigeria, in fact, the economy of Nigeria is supporting most of these economies that share border with us. But we've seen them, having edge over us. One would tell you, if you go to Cotonou, somehow they have these basic infrastructures more than many state capitals in Nigeria. I'll tell you that. But the truth remains that we've talked about human capital development in those countries. Very poor.
It's really sad. It's really sad that democracy isn't giving what it is supposed to give. And these schools spring up. We hope that someday the democracy that we practice in Africa can get to mirror true democratic principles. And then we can start squarely hoping that things like this do not spring up at any point at all. We take a break now, attend to some commercials. The phone lines will be opened immediately after. We're live on Facebook. Our handle is Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Drop your comment there and also share the video so other people can be part of what is happening, the conversations we're having here this morning.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, I'll pack it on the Wendy's bread, Mama mama, papa, they like when this bread, teacher, and do. When this bread, even children, they like when this bread, when this bread, get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. When this your battery chama. When this bread, tasty bread, you can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Misha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. Wendy's bread.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203. With Best Aluminium, you're investing in peace of mind, in beauty, and in the future of your home. Because when it comes to roofing, the best choice is always Best Aluminium MFG Limited. Tomorrow's technology today.
From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Anambra, the rhythm returns home this December 28th. Oka will breathe in rhythm and shine in bold. Lagos Jump Off 3.0, the homecoming edition, featuring Annie Dons Onyetaka, Iblis Jarek, Mr. Raw, Slow Dog, Charles Okocha, PB Ninja, Ivata, Diamond Okechi, Eaglet Davidson, Casey Kubana, MC Monica, Aboyfi I Go Talk, Slim Sherry, Waga, Ejai Kwamba, Go2 Onitsha, Hype Man Extraordinary, Harry B, Hype AO Machine, DJ Fresh Omen, DJ Alonso, DJ Spin Daddy, DJ Factor, DJ Fabuloso, VVIP table 3 million naira, VIP table 2 million naira, regular table 1 million naira, cocktail table 300,000 naira, standalone or walking guest 150,000 naira. For reservation and inquiries, do call 0913-484-4336 or +1970-258-0990. Lagos Jump Off 3.0, the homecoming, December 28th, Anambra State. This event is proudly packaged by CNN Entertainment. Be there.
Hello, my brother.
Hello? Bro, how far now?
Are they waiting this up now?
Now my tenants, they won't finish me. They know they pay rent. Wahala every day. Papa, the way you get supposed to give me joy. You don't do wahala.
Yeah, my brother, you need to upgrade to A sharply.
Guy, another agent I beg, I don't want. Agent that they are wahala and 5 and 6.
Sure, you never try Asoja sets now. The best from in property management. See, since I carry my houses, give them. Nah, so I they enjoy peace of mind like this. Them they handle rent collection, tenant screening, maintenance, everything. I just they relax, they watch my investment, they grow like this.
You know me now? You mean I pay avoid all these shifting with tenants?
Now, correct. Asoja sets go manage all your property worries. Them they professional, transparent, and reliable.
My friend, will you get out? Now see finish the cost of this nonsense. No worry. Asoja said they come. Una go soon hear out.
Why stress when Aswich Assets will run up for you? For property management, tenant services, and real estate solutions, call Aswich Assets today on 0904-0422-240 or 0906-8205-058 or visit our office at number 8 Niger Drive, GRA Onitsha, Anambra State. Forget your from house agent and trust the experts at Aswich Assets for your peace of mind. Aswich Assets, managing property, multiplying value. Onitsha, get ready, all roads don't lead to Godwin Achebe Stadium Fege because everything done set for the biggest, toughest, and most rugged street football championship where Onitsha don't ever see. Ebuka Street Championship 2025.
Brought to you by Winners Global Estate Limited in partnership with Famous Sports and Events Concept. Them they invite you, make you not miss the grand finale of this maiden event. We don't scatter everywhere with vibes. Oh, date Monday 8th December 2025. Venue Godwin Achebe Stadium, Fegi Onitsha. Third place showdown 12 p.m. sharp. Ozala Awada go lock horns with Port Harcourt Road, Fegi. No door yourself. Oh, na bragging rights they on the line. The grand finale 3 p.m. 2 giants, 2 warriors, 2 street legends. Anago Echetabu Avenue Ngwapu versus East Niger Okoko. Them go battle for who will carry the crown as the first ever Egwekere Street champions. My people, this one no be normal match. This na street football. We get blood, sweat, ginger, gra and culture. Come witness history and see the happen. Come feel the vibes, the rivalry, the bragging rights, the street energy. Ego joke, ego heart, ego bust mind. And remember, your own Udala Radio Onitsha go there ground as the media partner, giving you the coverage, the noise, the vibes. Proudly sponsored by Winners Global Estate Limited. Make you show face, make you show support, make you witness football with sweet past fine stew. Onitsha, let's go!
Nepa don't take light again. Wetin I fit do? Every day fuel don cost. How person wan take survive? I go cook soup today, tomorrow e go sour.
My people, why you dey stress when the sun dey your head for free? Switch to the affordable solar energy wey Wascana Solar Company dey give small businesses and homes across Naija, whether na barbing salon o, restaurant o, supermarket o, or your 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. Wascana Solar get correct durable solar wey go serve you wella. No more NEPA wahala, no more expensive fuel. Let the sun power your business and home for free. And no forget o, solar fans, solar lights, everything dey available. Call Wascana Solar now for 0806 374 2374. I repeat am, 0806 374 2374, or send email to wascanasolar@gmail.com. Visit their office near Olive Relief after Marble Hill School Junction, Okpanam Road, Asaba, or Classic Line Zone 2, A4 Electrical Dealers International Market, Obosi. Wascana Solar, Okunube.
Ụbọchị dum jupụtara n'ọtụtụ ihe omume mana ego gị nọ nkịtị ebe ọ dị. Ọ bụrụkwanụ na nrụsi ọrụ ike dịka ị na-eme, kwụsịlata n'oge a mee ka ego gị rọrụ gị ọrụ. Sonye n'amụma First Asset Money Market Fund na First Asset Dollar Fund ma weghachita ihe dị mma. Jiri naanị $5,000 $100 wee malite. Ngwa kpọọ akara 0806-494-5838 ka ịmalite ịmụba ego gị. Ka anyị gbakọọ akụnụba anyị ọnụ. Edebanyere aha First Asset Money Market Fund na First Asset Dollar Fund n'akwụkwọ ụlọ ọrụ Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria. Biko gba akwụkwọ mgbazioluso ya ma ebe ọbụla ị na-enwe obi abụọ. Kpọtụrụ onye investment advisor, stockbroker, fund maọbụ portfolio manager, accountant, banker, solicitor maọbụ onye ọzọ ma ihe a na-akọ ka o duzie gị tupu ịmalite.
Golden Promise Fiesta 1.0 2025. Be there at the biggest fiesta of the year. Join us live at Sonia Hotel, Sawait, 153B Eziweka Road, Awado Busi, Onitsha, on the 20th of December 2025 by 5 p.m. till dawn. It'll be a night of unforgettable entertainment, comedy, dance, and thrilling musical performances from Annie Dons, Professor Chikobi, Sawan-on-One Women Leader, Twin Parrots, Abuchi Obosi, and many more. Tickets are available now. Regular 2,000 naira, VIP 10,000 naira, VVIP table of 5 persons 500,000 naira. Get yours at number 1 Ngozi Obago Plaza, 20 Enugu Road, Onitsha, or number 1 Pampam Lane Suite, P25, second floor, Merito Plaza, Main Market, Onitsha. Before the tickets sell out, contact us on the following numbers: 0814-394-2802 or 0808-441-5156. Golden Promise Fiesta 2025, proudly powered by Golden Promise Entertainment, sponsored by Melvin Table Water and Callisto's International Limited. Don't just hear about it, be there.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
You can get involved. Put a call across to 0803-221-697-30, 0803-827-669 for you. Have 1 minute to go straight to the point and be as objective as possible. Hello, good morning.
My name is Comrade Walton. I'm calling you for the Onitsha. Can I go on?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. going to what happened in Anambra State, the shooting. I think we have said it here time without number. State police, local government police, and even community policing will easily take care of this thing. These people, they live among us. We know them. And another thing is the lack of trust in government. When we have local government police structure, where the personnel are drawn from every community, I think you can be, confident enough to review some information to the personnel from your community. At least we can get the things eradicated. Then coming to the coup d'etat in Benin, by the Nigerian Air Force and directed by the president, I don't know whether it follows the constitutional provision, because I know that the president ought to have summoned or made a request in the judge station of both the A1 and Upper Chamber the approval before deploying to Niger, which he never did. So I want to lay more emphasis on that, whether legal or illegal. Then, on the foiling of the coup in Benin Republic, I thought that Benin have a sovereignty. Why is Nigeria interfering in their sovereignty? Just as when they questioned Trump for attempting or proposing to interfere in Nigerian internal affairs, citing sovereignty. So I don't know this level of hypocrisy. So I want to know if I'm going to help us whether the Republic don't have sovereignty, they are not a sovereign nation. Meanwhile, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. So this is my point. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Let's hear you. 0803-221-697-3, 0803-827-6694. Hello there.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Doctor, good morning.
You're welcome.
This is Engineer Zugo calling from Oka.
Go ahead, Engineer.
I think you need to be allowing Tony time to speak when you're asking questions.
Engineer Zugo, please go straight to the point. What are you reacting to this morning?
This is a serious point. You don't allow him to be here. You cut you off time.
All right, that has been noted. Thank you for your contribution. 0803-221-6973. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. All right, Amaka, let's hear you.
Because as on you pasado president security na Benin, apozia ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria. In fact, oge ụfọdụ a na-ekwu okwu Nigeria, aghọtara okwu onye ọchịchị anyị nwere. Ịhapụ ihe na-eme na Benin, kedụkọta obodo onye ọzọ. Ndị Boko Haram, ụmụaka niile a na-ekidnap and so many atrocities na-aga n'obodo anyị a. O nwere onye dị ma nọ ha dị afta ihe na-eme n'obodo ọzọ. Ọ jọkakwa ahụ. Biko ka anyị kenekwa Tony Olisa Mbeki Nnamdi Alị na-anwa gị na ndị Udala FM n'ike.
All right, thank you, Amaka, for your contribution. Let's hear what you have to say now. Good morning. Hello there.
Dr. Dim Tony Obona. Good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Good morning.
Franklin, everyone them cable to Tomo. I am greeting is that I can be streaming the airwaves right here from Osmo. You see, our people used to say, and I sure okay. Nigeria, you have your internal insecurities to fight against. Yes, hoodlums everywhere, bandits, terrorists, here and there. You could not have put the log in your eyes first before seeing the pebble in your neighbor's eye. Nigeria, who do you think you are? So whereas you are entering into the Republic to fight for a crime that doesn't concern you, whereas you have a bundle of problems in your country unsolved, swallowing you. That is territorial development. It is abnormal, unacceptable, and uncalled for. Nigeria should go in and solve it.
Hello?
Nigeria will be able to, if at all, we have a lot of problems. Over 250 million pesos being controlled by an analog man. Nothing seems to be happening positively in this country. We are pulling the log in other people's eyes. It is abnormal.
All right, thank you for your contribution. We have to let you go. We have very little time. Good morning.
Good morning, my honorable speaker, Olisa Mbeki and Chisom.
You're welcome.
Michael the Great on the line, calling from the commercial city of Onitsha this beautiful morning.
Go ahead, please.
To be honest and sincere this morning, what is happening in the Republic is quite unfortunate that democracy, what we say that is a democracy in Africa is not what we are seeing. And that is the reason why all these things are happening. I know that fears will be in some leaders of Nigeria. Maybe one day this particular thing will happen. We should not be afraid of it. That kind of thing occur in our country as well, because just like what Chisom say that democracy is not democracy is what we think, that we are not seeing actually what democracy is in Nigeria, and we are not getting it right, because if we are getting it right, I don't think that some people will be planning to have a bad government in this country. Let's just go back to what really happened. In fact, to be honest with you, I'm not happy with what is happening in our country. Talk more of Nigeria trying to help what is happening here. We are not doing the needful. We are sending private jets, sending soldiers, sending all any type of security to go and restore peace in another country, while we are having disaster in our own nation here. Let us just think twice. I don't think that our leaders get it right.
Thank you for your contribution. Good morning.
Good morning, Chisom.
Good morning.
Good morning, my chief speaker.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Franklin. The voice of honor and leaders, the mayor of let me start by asking you a question. Please, you refer African democracy and they take it to Cameroon. The economy of Cameroon and the economy of Nigeria and some other African, which one is better than each other? Paul Biya has stayed there and the long overdue growth go out from that seat. But he remains there. But you see Cameroon is thriving. Things are going well. What we need in democracy is a good democracy. For example, we know what Amadou Ahidjo did to the Christians in Cameroon before that Paul Biya. So I want you to answer me, please. The economy of Nigeria and the way things are going in Cameroon and the way things are going in Nigeria, which one is better? Still is going on in Cameroon the way it's going in the governance of Paul Biya. This is my number one question. Number two, this kidnapping and all this instruction. Who is the negotiator that made these people to release these people? This is number one. Number two, as government, for example, these negotiators that always negotiate for these bandits and the kidnappers, so we could watch to the recourse and movement of these people that are negotiating. What is the essence of having them go to VPN, go to NIS? What are those things working? Then our president that has rushed immediately to Niger to send fighter and so on and so forth. All these things he's doing there, what is withholding him from doing them here in Nigeria? All these army checkpoints in the southeast, why are they not being mounted in the northern side so that these people that are infiltrating all these people are there will be fought? Please, before I round up, give us time that our time is okay before we cut off. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. We don't have time today, right? And I am trying to give everyone a fair chance. Take the comments on Facebook and attend to commercials before my time is up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is John. I'm coming from Onitsha.
All right, John, go ahead, please. You have a minute.
concerning this issue happened at the Benin Republic, then I see how Nigeria intervened in that very country. Ndị na-achọ ịlụsịta na onye ụlọ ya na-agba ọkụ ọ na-achọ oke. See how Nigeria military effort to intervene in that very country. But if it's here in Nigeria, our military, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know whether they are compromised. No, they're in the northern side. Do you see how they are fighting insurgency in northernlands? But if anything happens outside the country, see how they intervene. Even here in Southeast, anything that happens in Southeast, the military will intervene seriously first. But if in northern side, they are vigilant.
All right.
The way they have a balance, it will go in Magu. Look at what is happening in
I
Kenya.
have to let you go.
Then they rush as they're supposed to rush. So it's not good.
Thank you for your contribution. All right then. We're going to head over to Facebook. The handle is Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Okpe Onwa, you said that it is right for Nigerian government to send. I don't know if you mean to ask if it is right, but I'm going to read what you said word for word. It is right for Nigeria government should send Nigeria fighter jet to Benin Republic on behalf of ECOWAS or Nigerian government assistant without National Assembly deliberation. You're texting from Benue. Arinze Amobi is saying he is suspecting that I'm going to take that comment again. IPOB issued a statement 2 days ago that Southeast is safe for Christmas, that people should come home from Nigeria and abroad. Are these anti-IPOB elements at work to put fear in returnees? That's what he is asking. Uche Nanowai, good morning to you. Koyangoli, good morning. Ogamaka Zechuku, good morning to you again. Eze Hillary, he says, Nigeria is a sovereign state, therefore, Trump should not come in to stop terrorists, but Nigeria can barge into another sovereign state to stop a coup. Tony, I think you need to explain this to the audience, because first, the Beninese government asked for this. Secondly, they belong to a common body. That's the ECOWAS, if I'm not mistaken, Tony. That has to be the major reason why Nigeria sent aid.
All right, I don't know if you're done. Let me explain that.
Okay, let me finish with the comments, but I was actually hoping you would just explain it straight.
Yeah, because in his interpretation of law, by the request of the Beninese government, Tinubu is constrained by the law not to even send our fighter jets.
Okay.
He couldn't have done that without the consent of the National Assembly. And it is important we note this very well. If you go by our laws, they are very explicit on when we should involve the sending or deploying fighter jets outside the country. Mr. President is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That gives him right to give command to the armed forces, especially on issues within the Nigerian spaces. But when it has to do with outside Nigeria, for crying out loud, Mr. President, like if you go by section 49, subsection 1 and subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution, matters relating to foreign military assistance action, that very part says the president shall not declare war or authorize the use of the armed forces outside Nigeria except with the approval of the National Assembly. That's section 49, subsection 1 and 2. So no matter any form of action you would want to deploy the armed forces, you cannot do that without the approval of the National Assembly. And knowing fully well that there is urgency, because it has to do with foiling a coup in Benin Republic, given that urgency of a request from President Talon, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is still constitutionally constrained. He's still constitutionally constrained. But there are some steps he could have taken. He could maybe emergency approval mechanism, because section 58 of the 1999 Constitution allows the president to act in certain emergency situations, but does not explicitly permit unilateral foreign military deployment. If he has to do within Nigeria, there are some steps, or maybe the section 58 allows him to act in certain emergency situations, but when he has to do with outside Nigeria, he is still constitutionally constrained. He cannot unilaterally deploy fighter jets to Benin Republic without the approval of the National Assembly, as I have explained.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Eze Hilary, how were they rescued? Were there shootings and bombings? Because rescuing 100 children from bandits safe and sound is not a small matter at all. Una don't they pay ransom and then can't tell Una to go pick the children up in the forest where they left them. I beg, now question I ask. Henry Obaji, or Haji rather. Good morning to you, texting from Abia. Good to know you can reach us from Abia State. Odili Eloisha says, I thank the security in Anambra State for the good work going on. It is not easy fighting criminals, but the rate of kidnapping in Anambra is coming back again. That is security set up. Okay, we appreciate them greatly. Warrior Chikwadurum, it's quite disturbing that Nigerian military will be there in Benin Republic stopping a coup, whereas bandits are here ravaging the country. What a shame. Okay. Those are the comments we have from Facebook. Tony, thank you for explaining that. On that note, we'll be taking down the curtain on today's edition.
I wanted to answer one question.
All right, quickly, let's do that in
somebody
seconds.
Was asking a question about Nigerian economy and Cameroon economy, in the area of infrastructure. My brother, if you want to measure economy and which economy is doing well, we use GDP per capita. And then from the look of GDP per capita on different West African countries, Equatorial Guinea is topping with over $7,750. Followed by Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire. Cameroon is ahead of Nigeria, but when it comes to the area of infrastructure, Ghana tops, followed by Senegal. Nigeria is number 3, and that very index is World Bank Logistics Performance Index, LPI, overall score, which takes, looks into issues of port, airport, electricity, road, rail quality, and so many things. But we are ahead of Cameroon when it comes to the issues of logistics performance index, but when it comes to economy, they are ahead of us because of the fact that they have a better GDP per capita.
All right, thank you for all of that clarity. Definitely the Polity is going to happen again 9:15 to 11 a.m. tomorrow. Until then, I am Chisom Chinedu. Do your bid as a Nigerian to get the Nigeria that you desire. I'll see you again at 12:25 on the Cherry Box. Keep it locked on Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and thank you for your contribution again. Good morning.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Oluchukwu Microfinance Bank, banking Equitio. Oluchukwu Microfinance Bank, banking Marama. Banking Ego Anoya, Oluchukwu Noya, Anoya.
Oluchukwu Microfinance Bank, they're here to make that your dreams come true. We get different loans with the offer. When you feel use boost down your business, make you make more money. Our asset loan fee help you get one sharp keke na pepe like this. We get salary account loans for civil servants, agricultural loans for farmers, micro loans for small